Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you're all doing fabulous. When you're watching this video, keep in mind, this is the season of spookiness. This is the season of Halloween. So I hope you yourself are enjoying this most beautiful time of year, one of my most favorite times of year, outside of Christmas, of course. So I hope you too are in the spirit of things and deciding to be the version of yourself that is absolutely experiencing all your wildest dreams and desires. I hope that's what you're doing. It's exactly what one of our HBICs started doing, and she herself is now experiencing being in the relationship with her specific person, and money's flowing into her reality, and all because she started applying this. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you would like to work with me in any way, shape, or form, all of that information is in the drop box below, including all the information about my 3 channel memberships. I go live with my channel members every single week. We go live together in Zoom calls. We have the VIP, the Advanced Manifestors group. That's the group where we are deep diving manifestation so that we are deepening and expanding our awareness around manifestation. So handling and maneuvering 3D becomes effortless. I also have the exclusive lives group. It's the group where we only talk success stories and tips and tricks. And we have the hot seat group. That's where you can get into the hot seat and ask me anything you want about what's going on in your life, manifestation in general. That group comes with a trigger warning because we do talk about circumstances. So if you join that VIP Advanced Manifestors group, that is going to give you access to all 3 of the channel memberships, and the Advanced Manifestors are the only group that has the access to the recordings of previous meetings, previous group sessions. That's the group to join. I'm just going to say it. It's why I talk about that one the most. That is the one that's more bang for your buck. Each group is set to be together for about an hour. They always go longer. So if that interests you, if you just want to have a manifestation buddy, and that's me, if you want to hang out with me week after week, and again, only benefit from it, which is exactly also what this HBIC did. She is a part of the community, and I'm so excited for her. So if that interests you, all that information is in the drop box below. Let me shut the hell up and let's get into the video. What this fellow HBIC did to manifest her specific person, and I mean literally manifest him and is in officially the relationship with him, as well as completely overhaul, radically change her money life. Like, money is flowing to her. Lots of good things regarding money are coming to her. She's a completely new person. She's a new self. What did she do to get this success? Well, first of all, she joined my channel memberships and started hanging out and watching my content. I love knowing that. That makes me feel so nice. But aside from that, what was she doing? Well, she was applying some basic principles, basic things that all of us have heard before, but she started taking them actually seriously and really applying them to her life. And when we were talking this morning, it reminded me of, what she's saying is also one of the principles in the reality transurfing book that we are reading in the Advanced Manifestors group. And even, Neville Goddard touched on this subject. So let me say this first. I feel it is a reflection of the reality transurfing principle, number, I believe, 27, and it is chasing the reflection. So hear me out. How does a person usually respond when they see something manifesting that they do not want in their life? The everyday mind tries without success to manipulate the reflection in the mirror, when in fact, it is the image itself that must be changed. The image represents the focus and quality of our thoughts. Imagine how ridiculous it looks to see a person standing in front of a mirror trying to catch a hold of the reflection so that they can create something from it. You have to tear your eyes away from the mirror and let go of the short-sighted intention to turn the world in the direction you want it to go. Purposefully send your thought forms out into the world and adopt a positive attitude. Everything will turn out just the way you want it to. What's the interpretation of that principle? Make an inventory of your thoughts and eliminate every occurrence of the particle not. Dissatisfaction, reluctance, rejection, disapproval, hatred, lack of belief in your own success, and so on. Take all this rubbish, shove it in a sack, and chuck it in on the rubbish heap. Your thoughts should be focused on what you like and want. Then only the good stuff will be reflected in the mirror. On the other hand, be prepared for it to take some time before you begin to observe positive changes in your personal world, or for the opposite to happen with all sorts of unpleasantness creeping in. And what of it? These are all just a temporary inconvenience associated with moving to a new level of relationship with reality. As you know, the mirror works with a delay factor. You have to hold the frame no matter what. Quietly hold the pause for a bit while nothing is happening. It's just like in the fairy tale when they say, don't look back or you'll turn to stone. I don't know what on earth is going on in the mirror, but I know this. The mirror has no choice. Sooner or later, it will have to reflect the image I am creating in my thoughts. As long as I stand my ground and am not tempted to look back, the mirror will create my reality. Everything will be the way I want it to be. Now, let me just kim that down and say, listen, this is Vadim Zeland's perspective on manifestation. So if you are someone that doesn't buy into the delay factor like Vadim does. Now, as far as my perspective on that, I believe that when you make a decision to be a certain version of yourself, it is an instant shift. You instantaneously are placed in that reality. What I think the delay factor that Vadim Zeland's talking about, it is really nothing more than you're experiencing the unfolding. It's really nothing more. Don't look at that as linear time. Lots and lots and lots of linear time moments. No, I don't buy into that either. It is an instant shift, but I just think that was Vadim's way of describing an unfolding, the unfolding of the film roll. That's all. Don't overthink it. But if you notice how he added what the fairy tales used to say, you know, don't look back or you're going to turn to stone. Well, we've heard this before. If you were brought up, you know, under any type of religious upbringing where you used the Bible, I'm sure you've heard about Lot's wife from Genesis 19:26. But Lot's wife looked back and she became a pillar of salt. Essentially, I'm just going to kim that down. You know, the idea behind that verse was she disobeyed the angel's warnings to not look back. If you weren't brought up with any type of religion, don't worry. Don't worry. This will make sense in a moment. She looked back and they were told not to look back, to keep, you know, focused forward where they were running and hiding to escape the cities. This is all in the Bible, obviously, Genesis 19:26. Think about that perspective for a moment. Don't look back or you'll be turned to stone. But remember Lot's wife, right? Jesus brings it up again later in the Bible. I believe it's in the New Testament, obviously, because that's when Jesus was there. You know, Jesus brings in, remember Lot's wife from Luke 17:32. Whoever tries to keep their life will lose it. and whoever loses their life will preserve it. Do you see how all three of these, Vadim Zeland's principle versus the two quotes verses from the Bible, do you see? Do you hear that pattern? Stop looking back on your 3D reality and making a judgment, assuming the worst, believing that things are changing. Instead, focus on your imagination. Focus on the who you want to be. And that's exactly what this Hbic started to take very seriously. And when she was sharing this huge success story with me this morning, it really made me think of, you know, that's also exactly what I did, and therefore then manifested the relationship I'm in right now, the most amazing version of my specific person. I stopped staring and judging 3D reality and spent the dominant amount of my time in my imagination, accepting or deciding that I was my new self. I stopped looking out here. I stopped trying to control and fix every single thing that popped up in my reality. I let go of the 3D. I detached, and so did she. And I don't think it's a coincidence that all of these, you know, points of view, these perspectives, these experiences of success, if you think about it, when you listen to other success stories, a lot of the time you hear that the person has detached, has let the 3D go. They started putting the focus on, and maybe they had specific techniques. She was more in the realm of what I do. She made a decision of who she wanted to be. She defined it, and she kept her eyes there. So no matter what she was experiencing in the 3D, because listen, we get it. You've got to interact with the 3D. You're living it, right? You're still a human being. But she stopped giving things meaning unless it was to her benefit. In other words, whatever she was experiencing out in 3D, she only labeled that as, it's the unfolding. It's the unfolding because I am this version now. And that is exactly what I did. And I manifested. So I'm not shocked she was successful. You can be too. Think of what Jesus said. Remember Lot's wife. Stop looking back. Stop looking out here. Stop searching for the evidence so that you can feel safe that manifestation is working or that you're going to get what you want. That's a fear-based action. Is that really from unconditional love? Do you really think that's coming from your higher self? No, you get to lean and trust into the knowing that you are source. You are source. Another Hbic, I mentioned this in a video last week, makes it a part of her daily practice of remembering she is source and is experiencing change, success in her reality in more than one area. They're not looking back. They're doing their best to not judge, because remember, this is never about perfection. We're never going to be perfect while we are in human form. We're here to experience things. But we've been given the gift of free will to choose who we want to be. We've been given the gift to be able to use our imagination, to keep our eyes over in imagination, to place our awareness on who we want to be and keeping our eyes forward. Think of it that way. Looking back and judging your 3D, looking at the 3D and assuming, oh my God, it's not working yet. You know, maybe you're manifesting a specific person and maybe a specific person isn't contacting you. Looking at the 3D and trying to fix that by poking it and you blowing up SP's phone to get them to talk to you so you can feel better that they're still in your reality or that you're still connected to them. How many of you are guilty of that? I used to be guilty of that. That's one of the things I used to do. If I was experiencing not hearing from my specific person, especially in my early days, I would think of stupid ass reasons to strike up a conversation with him to get him to respond to me so I could feel better that he was still talking to me and that he was still, you know, interested in me. You know, I will say that didn't always make me feel better. It didn't yield what I wanted. Me reaching out and poking, trying to fix things in the reflection. It's the same idea as me staring at the viewfinder here and say I see a mark on my face. It would be just as stupid to keep reaching at the viewfinder and trying to fix it there versus here. It's really the same thing. When we get ourselves so entangled, so transfixed on fixing shit in 3D reality versus just putting your awareness on your imagination, on the reality you want to be in, which is what's going to fix your 3D reality. We're never going to force things to happen or force our specific person to show up and choose us if we're trying to do it in the 3D. The only way to bring successful manifestations or successful changes in your 3D is by you changing the who is standing in the mirror. The who is looking in the mirror. Nothing to change but self. Letting your old state die. Letting the old version of you go. By keeping yourself transfixed, entangled. Keeping your awareness on the new reality. The new version of you. The you that is experiencing what your desire is. And again, side note, there's nothing wrong with having the awareness of it's going to happen. It will happen. I am becoming my new self. There's nothing wrong with thinking of it from that perspective. But remember, there's nothing more important than your identity, who you truly believe you are. So let me ask you, if you're having a day where you're feeling a little frustrated or upset, or even maybe to the point of where you want to give up on what you're manifesting, ask yourself truthfully, authentically, why? Is it because you're looking out here? Are you being Lot's wife? Are you looking out here, longing for your manifestation to come? Not seeing the results that your rational, logical mind is telling you you should see in order to feel safe that your manifestation is coming? Are you doing that? Are you allowing the 3D, the reflection, to dictate who you are? I've said this so many times. I think I just put a video up about it again as a little reminder. The idea of manifestation and to be successful at it. And remember, we are successful at it. We've been doing it our whole lives, unconsciously. To be a successful conscious manifester where we are finally experiencing the things we want is to put the trust in ourselves, in our imagination, in our I amness, not out here, not the 3D. It's trusting in the unseen. Going back to using Lot as an example. Lot, his family members, his wife, they didn't know what they were running to. They didn't know what the future held. They didn't have evidence that they were going to be safe and things were going to be okay. But the angels told them to go anyway, told them to run, to leave. Go forward, move forward, and don't look back. Don't look back. They had nothing to hold on to either. They had to trust in the unknown, trust in the unseen. But the beauty is we are now aware that putting our focus on the unknown, on the unseen, and deciding what that is, who you are, you get to feel safe and secure that everything's going to be all right now in this moment, simply by allowing yourself to. Lot's wife was the dumbass who looked back. She looked back. She didn't listen. She didn't take the advice. Why do you think there are so many people in the 3D who are not awake yet? And I say yet, because I intend they all do. That's why they're experiencing the same shit over and over and over again. And you were probably that person at one time too, just like I was. In the cycle of shitty relationships, unfulfilling, broken hearts, being dumped, all the things. Never seemingly having enough money, not loving the career, not loving myself, because I let the 3D dictate to me who I was. I let it control me. And that's what most people in the 3D, the muggles, are doing. They're not trusting in the unseen and the unknown. They're afraid to. And listen, if you're newer to manifestation, I understand that it's not always instantly easy to trust that you're going to get what you want. I didn't trust either. But with the daily practice of choosing your new self, you're going to naturally become that self. And you're going to see that a lot of those fears are going to fall away naturally, all on their own, without you forcing it. See, we're not Lot's wife. We do have knowledge that by making a decision of who we want to be, by utilizing our free will, by keeping our eyes transfixed on what we want, we know what happens. We know reality has to reflect us. We know that now. The message has been broken down for us. So we have no reason to look back and keep ourselves stuck and tangled with a life we don't want. Like Napoleon Hill said, you're drifting. You're like entranced, stuck to get out of the box, out of the matrix, out of the same old shit, out of the cycles. And that's what the muggles are out there. If you're new to my channel, just like in Harry Potter, I think of anybody who's not awake to manifestation, I call them muggles. Because they are. You're not. You're magic folk. You're a wizard or a witch. I love Harry Potter. But we've been gifted this knowledge that was available to us our entire life. So we do know better. So think about it. Why do we fall back into old patterns? Why do we go back to old thinking? Why do we allow the 3D to hold us, to grip us tight? Why do we do that? Fear. Fear and habit. Manifestation is breaking through habits and using our beautiful mind for what it was given to us for, to focus on imagination. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And your life will change. Just like the Hbics did, just like mine did. I stopped looking back. I stopped being Lot's wife. Stop being Lot's wife. This out here, it's not going to save you. You are your own savior. And it's really not difficult. You don't have to do anything too difficult. You just got to think about what you want. That's it. Start giving everything the meaning that it's working for you. It's the unfolding to the desire. You're in the right reality. Things don't have to make sense, and they might not make sense, but you have the option. You have that free will of where you're putting your focus. Out on the shit or on what you want. Heaven or hell. Think about this again. Remember Lot's wife, he said. Whoever tries to keep their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life will preserve it. Think about that. Whoever is transfixed, gripping, trying to force, focused on the fear, doesn't get what they want. Those of us who let that all go, let it go, stops trying to fix things out here, stops fighting with reality, stops focusing on what you don't want, but brings the focus over here on what you do want, on who you want to be. And we keep the focus over here, still not fighting with anything out here. Choosing to focus on new self, the self that has the desire. These are the people who get their lives, who get their desires, who saves themselves. Save yourself. You were woke up for a reason, not a coincidence, for a damn reason. So use it. Use your free will and get your focus on what you want, just like the Bible told us to do. There's a part of you that I know is resonating with this message today. I know it is. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. Stop focusing out here. Focus over here and fucking change your life. It works, and it works pretty flawlessly. And I want to say, for those of you who are in your moments of wondering, oh, should I do this or should I do that? What if I make the wrong decision? I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, you can't mess up a manifestation if you know your heart's intention is to be the version of yourself that has a desire. And you keep bringing your focus back to this, it doesn't matter what decision you do out here. It'll still lead you to your ending. We can't fuck this up. I really hope you listen to, you were woke up for a reason. For a reason. Because you are meant to experience heaven on earth. You are. You watching this. I don't care what your background is. I don't care how you were raised. You were woke up for a fucking reason. Stop wasting it. Stop throwing it away. Stop manifesting the same old shit that makes you fucking miserable anyway. Stop. Wake up. Focus on what you want. It'll work. So on that note, I'll see you tomorrow. Probably with another Halloween shirt on. Just saying.